There's fire Pokemon here you can get. There's a cool psychic Pokemon. There's a ghost Pokemon.
It's a good thing. There's
a lot of Pokemon that you get in this particular area, and there's another area adjacent to this. But yeah, I thought that I saw someone griping about Fire Emblem only having like 3 houses in the town or something like that.
Like
I don't know. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, in the new Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem.
I remember.
Okay, so here's the thing about Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem doesn't have environments usually. So the fact that this one has any at all, because it's just levels. The old Fire Emblem games, you go by chapter, and then each chapter is like it's like a chess game. So they'll build their environments around the levels, but there's no like overworld. This is the first one with an overworld, and I think people are upset that the overworld is only so much, but also the other ones don't have an overworld at all, and it still has the same amount of maps as the other games.
Okay.
So I'd have to see the specific complaint, but I think that complaint is poop.
Hold on 1 second here. I just had an epiphany. You can either catch a ground Pokemon like Sandile, or you can level up Cutie 2 levels and it'll evolve into Palpitoad, which gets ground type.
Oh, that's cool. I also already have a ground type move, so we're in it to win it on that one.
Dope. What else just came out? So wait, Fire Emblem came out for the Switch, and you have been playing it, and you said it's good?
I like it a lot. It's probably my favorite Fire Emblem.
Okay, I haven't played any Fire Emblem games.
Here's... God, I hate talking about Fire Emblem. So, I really do. I hate... Okay, alright, so I'm gonna lay it out. Everybody around me...
Let me go get some water first. I'm listening.
Okay, so everybody...
I have Bluetooth headphones, so I'm gonna walk out, but I'm still listening.
Okay. So, people around me and my friend group that like Fire Emblem generally like all of them, all Fire Emblem games. I don't. I think the last 2 have been and I don't think they're bad. But I was like, yeah, this is the best one since Awakening. It might be better than Awakening. They're like, what about Echoes and the other one? And I'm like, I don't know, they were okay. 2
Fire Emblem games since Awakening?
Yeah. So.
Oh, jeez, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, exactly, because they're not good. They basically took the concept of Awakening and they remade it. Like the
I heard Fire Emblem Awakening was really, really good.
Fire Emblem Awakening is fantastic, and then the ones after that are pretty much Fire Emblem Awakening again with the same concepts, but with new characters and a new story. So they didn't really.
So Fire Emblem Awakening Majora's Mask for all intents and purposes.
No, because Majora's Mask had its own theme to it. So I'll put it this way. So the Fire Emblems before Awakening were not popular in America. And Awakening was the first one that made it like super popular. The difference between Awakening and the others was you could like hook up with other people. You pretty much match made your party, and then they would have children, and then you could train the children to fight, and the children were different based on that matchmaking style. That was a new concept, and usually every Fire Emblem comes with a new concept. Like this new one doesn't have that. You can have your character marry another character, but other than that, that's the only matchmaking you can do. And then it's got like a whole bunch of new concepts other than that. So what Echoes did, and what what's the name of the other one? It's Conquest and Birthright, but they have maybe that one's Echoes. I don't know.
If you haven't switched Pokemon, by the way, go use Fluffy Q.
Okay. I like completely like hands off the DS to explain that. So what the other ones did were they did the matchmaking system again with Awakening, and they didn't add anything. And they added very small things, but nothing that's like major, and nothing that anybody really liked. And people like to argue that because they didn't change much, that they're on par with Awakening. But like the characters are dry. Like I don't care about any of them. And that's like,
You know what I realized?
I feel like that's a general opinion, but there are those people who like think just because you like a series, you have to like every game in the series.
Correct. You know what I realized a lot of times when you talk about like matchmaking in RPGs? But I really am not an RPG guy.
Oh no, you're definitely not.
Like,
and that's fine, but
like I like stylized RPGs, but like Skyrim, I really like Skyrim, and I'm enjoying Final Fantasy VII. But like,
well, I was gonna say you don't like JRPGs,
stuff like that.
But if you like Final Fantasy VII,
well, I'm pretty not far into the game.
This is your first one, yeah?
Correct.
I've actually never beaten it.
I've never beaten a single Final Fantasy game. I've played like, God, it must have been like 5 minutes of actual gameplay of Dirge of Cerberus.
That's a good
And it was revealed to me, like, I know that Vincent Valentine can jump and has a gun. That's literally all I played.
right.
But what was revealed to me is that Final Fantasy VII has like 5 games and a movie.
Oh yeah.
And that's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, they went hard.
Why? That's so much for one game.
Well,
And like, Toby put it a good way. Is like a lot of people just can't handle all that. And it's like, I definitely can't. It's like, whereas like if there had been like, for example, like they did Black and White and Black and White 2. If they had done like
3, 4,
Black
5.
and White 3, 4, 5 prequel, further prequel, and then a movie, I would have been so stressed.
Right.
Like,
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
it's like, okay, Final Fantasy VII was ultra enormous, no question. Did it really need that much? And like, I haven't played, I'm not shitting on the games just to do it. I don't know, but it feels so excessive and unnecessary.
I feel like that goes back to what I was saying earlier
Like,
about
imagine
cash
if they-
grabs. I feel like a lot of shit is cash grab.
Well, that's true. But imagine if they had done like Ocarina of Time, but made a movie and then 4 more games that were just essentially the same game, but slightly different. Like, imagine if you had game now, but as I say it would probably be pretty cool. Like, imagine if they did a game where you play as Sheik. That would have been awesome. But
Well-
see, no, if it's just the same story, then it's more of a Half-Life situation where it's
Exactly.
an expansion pack.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's not the same.
but I like when games do a series, but they do stuff like Uncharted, where each game connects, but it's also a standalone game. You know,
Correct.
So like games like that where they have their own story, and like if I were to play a Zelda game, like how Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are kind of connected, right? But you don't
Yeah.
need to play Ocarina of Time at all to understand Majora's Mask. You just don't.
That's right.
I think those kind of games are really cool. I think it's kind of stupid.
It makes the experience a little richer, if you ask me.
This guy's fucking KTS eyebrows.
What are your levels, by the way? Because
Very unbalanced. Very uneven.
yeah, I was gonna say. I seem to remember Herdier, whose name escapes me. Is pretty low.
His name also escapes me. Let's see. Yeah, he's like level 20, I think.
Yeah, you should just catch whatever you want, dude.
Lil Bean, and it's a she.
Little Bean. Yeah, I was like, I'm kind of backseat
I'm kinda-
gaming a little.
No, you're doing fine. You're not saying like catch this Pokemon. I'm not super interested in anything so far.
Yeah, the only one I wanted was Sewaddle, but we have Big Sniff, so it'd be redundant.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know, man. I am enjoying the game, but I get so. Another thing
It's overwhelming,
that's
definitely.
Another thing that super stresses me out when it comes to playing games, and Final Fantasy is a perfect example. So like, you go into it at the outset, you know that it's awesome, and that it's super long because it's got all the discs. So when you see a clip from some point in the game and you see like damage of greater than like 5,000 being dished out and it not doing that much damage, it's like, oh my god,
Well-
this is so overwhelming. And because you don't know when you're dropped in, like you could be at the very end or right at the beginning.
I gotta say though,
So
that's definitely just JRPGs, and it upscales so much faster than you would think.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I get so stressed when there's a game I don't know, and I see a part of it that I don't know.
Yeah.
How far into the game it is, especially when people talk about how long that game is. It makes it so much harder to work up the courage to do it. Another one that was bad for that was Earthbound, because like you see like a boss battle that's actually pretty early in the game, but you don't know that.
Cottony's grass?
It's like,
well, what's Cottony?
Cottony is grass, yeah. It's like you don't get that with Pokemon because Pokemon is so straightforward compared to most RPGs. But I'm sure if someone like hadn't played Pokemon, just saw, it's not a really good comparison, but like they're just seeing parts of games that you don't know how far into it they are.
I think that's because Pokemon doesn't upscale damage like ridiculously. So like you start off with 25 HP and you end with like 300 or something like that. You don't end up with like, you start with 30 HP and then you end with like 20,000 like fucking Final Fantasy does, where it's like crazy amounts of damage and crazy amounts of everything, and it feels like it's a lot, but then you play for like 20 plus hours and you're like halfway there and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, another thing I just realized that I like about Pokemon more than most RPGs is that you don't have to worry about... See, like, do you equate using different types as boosting different attributes? Because they feel different to me. Whereas, like, let's take Skyrim. Okay. You can make your one-handed or your two-handed more powerful, and you might leave yourself weaker for magic. Mm-hmm. Do you think that, like, if you have let's say you have a water Pokemon and... Actually, it's a bad example. Let's say you have a grass Pokemon and a bug Pokemon, but you don't have anything that could take out fire Pokemon, so you're kind of weaker at that point. Because, like, they sound like they can be similar, but they don't feel similar.
Right.
Like, you can just...
Yeah. I see what you're
saying. I feel like in most RPGs, if you want to play things balanced, like... I'm gonna jump around. Have you ever played Legacy of Goku? Or, not Legacy of Goku, Boo's Fury?
No, I haven't.
Really good game. But every time you level up, you get 3 experience points, and you can level up. You can use them between strength, power, and endurance. Endurance, obviously, reduces how much damage you take. Power is your energy moves, and strength... Yeah, I know, it's crazy. So, like, you can either...
And you know what...
You can either get...
Go ahead.
You get a little bit better at everything really slowly, or you can get really good at one thing and you get literally everything else.
You feel... There's always a point of weakness. You always feel weak to some point. And the reason I started... It used to stress me out like a little bit, like a normal person level, but now it really fucking stresses me out. And I'll tell you fucking why, is my cousin played through Dark Souls when Dark Souls first came out. And then I tried playing through Dark Souls. Dark Souls is one of those where if you spread out, like you said, you go all in on one thing or you spread out. If you spread out in Dark Souls, you're fucked. That's it.
Yeah, it's done. Like...
And I hate when games do that.
Disadvantageous to spread out.
Yeah, and I feel like games don't do a good job at letting you know what's... Like, should I be, like with Fire Emblem, should I be spreading out all my stuff or should I be going all in on one thing? I get stressed out, and that's something I need to work through to even play the game.
That's one thing I am liking about Final Fantasy so far is, like, where I am in the game, don't spoil anything, is that doesn't exist so far. Where
Final Fantasy is pretty good about that.
Like, you don't have to choose which part you're going to get better. You just level up.
Yeah.
So, but, like, do you see what I mean? How you can explain Pokemon types to be the same way, but they really don't feel the same.
Right. Yeah. You don't feel like you're weakened.
Because, like, there's no penalty to balance in Pokemon.
Right.
In fact, it's strongly encouraged. To load up on one thing is horrifically a bad idea.
Yeah. That makes sense.
No, not necessarily a bad idea, but, like, monotype runs are extremely challenging.
Yeah.
Because eventually you're going to run into something that you just have a really tough time taking out. But like, even though I'm saying that, it sounds like my point's gonna be, it's the same as increasing attributes. It just doesn't feel that way. It feels inverse.
Right.
I don't know. It just, whenever you have to choose how to play and leave yourself weak in one way, it stresses me out.
I feel that.
The only time I didn't feel that way is Skyrim, which is weird because
Skyrim
I don't
is
know,
that
maybe
way,
it's-
yeah. But I agree. I also don't feel that way.
The
in
way
Skyrim.
I played it, I used my bow a lot and would sneak around and got really good at lock picking, and my sword was really good. Little side note, go heal up and then come back into the desert and go down that path to the left that you didn't go.
Baby. QT is evolving.
Yeah. Nice. So yeah, we'll go to the next town so we can heal, and then we'll come back because there's another area that's kind of secret where we can get a whole bunch of new Pokemon.
Oh, okay. Evolves in a fucking Quagsire.
Oh, your favorite Maractus. You like Maractus, right?
This dude has
we could catch
balls on his head. Palpitoad.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. You think it's gonna get worse. Balls won't be just on his head.
Oh god.